start with a problem. But what he says is see a need, fill a need, right?
Yes.
So like when you see something, then you can work towards it. You become passionate about it. You care about it. And you kind of almost become obsessed. I was carrying this to university on a bus, and the bus driver looks at me and he's like, that's a strange thing to put makeup into. The thing is about me is like, I'm non-confrontational.
I know.
So I looked at him and I was like, and then I walked away. Like I tried to fake a laugh because obviously like I think he was trying to make a joke at my expense. My dad gave me the nickname Question Amma. Like, and so I used to love hackathons. I'm inherently like a very competitive person, so I will always look for things that like allow me to compete. So I loved hackathons. Now what does every 10-year-old kid want to do? Play video games.
It's time to unlock your full potential. Every person has a remarkable story. Join me, Dr. Sarah Haddad, on a journey of empowerment and inspiration as we delve into the depths of self-discovery and transformation. Don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel at Sarah Haddad. Welcome to On Top. Today, we're joined by Rashmi Prakash, co-founder and CEO of Aruna Revolution Health. With a background in biomedical engineering, Rashmi has made a global impact in assistive technologies, surgical robotics, and sustainable health products. She's passionate about innovation that improves lives for everybody. From developing life-changing medical devices to leading a startup that's innovating menstrual products, Rashmi's journey is inspiring. Today, we'll explore her breakthroughs, challenges, and vision for the future. Let's dive into it. Welcome to my humble home and welcome to my podcast, Rashmi.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Me too. Excellent. So, Rashmi, I'm going to start with your journey coming to Canada. Where did you come from and when did you come to Canada and how did you come to Canada?
That's a great question. So I was actually born in India.
Okay.
And I was born and I lived there till I was only 6 years old.
Okay.
And then after I was 6, I actually moved to the UK.
So not right away to Canada.
Exactly. Yeah. So I moved to the UK and then I lived there until I was 14 years old. I lived in South Wales, so I had to learn how to speak Welsh.
Yes, it's a different accent there too.
Not just a different accent, different language.
Okay.
So, you know, I spoke my mother tongue and then I had to speak English and then I had to learn Welsh and so many different languages, but the culture there is beautiful as well.
Nice.
And you know, lots of beautiful mountains all around you.
Yeah, Wales is really nice.
It's beautiful.
So you were not right in the city in London?
No, yeah. We were in a small town. It was called a town, and then while I was there, the Queen visited and turned it into a city.
Oh, nice. Okay. Did you see the Queen?
I did, yeah.
Oh, really?
I did. We have a video of it, and we even like drew a picture and we gave it to her, and she like came and grabbed it from us.
Oh, that's so sweet. Awesome. Great memories.
Yeah. And then when I was 14, my dad's job transferred to Canada.
Yes.
So we moved out here. We actually moved to Ontario.
Okay.
So we lived in Ontario. I did all of my high school there.
Mm-hmm.
And then after high school, I decided it was time to leave the nest and get away from my parents.
Yes, yeah.
So I moved out to BC, and I specifically picked UBC because of the biomedical engineering program.
Okay.
So when I was applying to universities around like 2012, 2013, biomedical engineering wasn't actually that big.
Yes, that's right. I remember.
And so, you know, when I was looking for programs in well-reputable schools, like there really weren't any. And the ones that I really wanted to go to was UBC.
Nice.
So I went to the UBC Electrical Engineering Biomedical Option Program. So my undergraduate degree is actually in electrical engineering with a biomedical option. So I did, it was a really great experience, and that's kind of my journey.
How old were you when you moved to BC by yourself?
I was 17 when I left home.
And they let you leave?
Yeah, with a lot of struggle.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, they knew that I really wanted to go out to BC. I had actually, so when we first came to Canada,
Yeah.
it was before we moved, and
Yeah.
we actually came and visited Vancouver for a vacation for
All
like
right.
2 months, and
Yes.
so I fell in love with it. I'm such a big like outdoors and nature person,
Yes, yeah.
and BC is great for that.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with it. I always knew deep down that I was going to go back to BC.
Yeah.
And so yeah, when I graduated high school and I wanted to go somewhere that to be honest, I like applied to 3 universities, and I only wanted to get into UBC.
Yeah, you just applied for, for your parents'
just 'cause,
sake.
yeah.
That's awesome. So when you came to Canada, how was the English language with the, what you learned in UK?
Totally. So I think it was actually so when I was in India,
Yeah.
I actually was in a school that taught English.
Okay.
So I learned English at the same time as I was learning my mother tongue. And then when I came to UK, I wasn't very confident with English because we mostly only spoke. So my mother tongue is called Kannada.
Canada?
Canada, not to be confused with Canada. It's Canada. Yeah.
Nice.
And so when I came to Wales, like I wasn't very confident with English, but I feel like when you're quite young, you pick it up quite quickly.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But
very
then
fast.
the problem is that it wasn't just English that I had to learn, but also the Welsh language. They
yeah.
kind of taught us simultaneously. So I feel like because of that, and like also because of the diversity of languages in India, I became quite good with languages at that young age. But coming to Canada was an interesting experience because when I came here, I actually had a very thick Welsh accent.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I had to quickly change my accent to the Canadian accent that I have right now.
Yes.
And I don't even know if it's a real Canadian accent anymore. I think it's just kind of like some hybrid of all of my accents. Otherwise, like people would only pay attention to the accent and not to what I'm saying.
So say a word that is, like.
Yeah, so one word that I really struggle with, and you'll catch it when I say it, is water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that for example, and even then I'm
Water.
like I try to like Canadianize it a little bit because if
Yeah.
I was saying it fully like as I would in Wales, it
Water.
was water.
Yeah.
Water. There's no T. There's no T. It's just
Oh,
water. Can I have some water?
Okay. That's funny. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
It's the same language, but it's different.
Totally.
So how many years did you do in BC?
So I was in BC for 10 years. But in 10 years, I did my undergraduate degree. I
Yes.
did my master's, and I got a lot of work experience too.
Okay.
So I was in BC for quite some time.
Oh, awesome.
More or less from like 2013 to the beginning of 2023.
So why did you choose biomedical?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, like what got you to go into it?
So I think one thing with me was I was always interested in health and biology.
Okay.
I think I grew up with a lot of like people around me struggling with their health. Like my grandmother struggled with diabetes, and
Yeah.
she passed away from it at a really young age, and
yeah.
so it was something that was ever present in my life, like the challenges of health. And then there were like lots of random little incidences around it too. I remember writing my university application about a rabbit that had been hit by a car, but it was still alive. And me and my brother found it in the snow, and we like brought it back home and tried to nurse it back to life. It was like, maybe a little bit of a traumatizing incident.
It is a traumatizing experience.
Yeah.
Did he or she survive?
No. We had
Oh,
to call
gosh.
the RSPCA and have it put down just because the damages were too much. And it was like really struggling. But anyway, I think that health is something that I'm so good at being able to control everything else in my life, but health is something that I don't have any control
that's
over.
right, yeah.
And so I think that's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
But also on the other side of things, I think, just my love for nature, my love for animals, like I'm always so curious about it. Like, how does this work? How am I able to see? And how am I able to see that you're wearing red, like a red top, like, everything. And so I think it's a combination of curiosity, life experiences that kind of put me down that path. I thought about becoming a doctor, but I realized like I'm not good with blood.
Yeah, there's a lot of blood there.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the other side, the engineering side.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what made you want to innovate something? What triggered that? You said, you know what, I want to do this or I want to do that.
Totally. So one of the big things that I remember from this is that so one of my first jobs was actually as a camp counselor for people with special needs.
Okay.
And during this time, you know, all our role was, you know, take care of them, you know, make sure that they're having a good time, help them complete the activities, like all of those things. But at the same time, one thing that I realized was that the world is not really designed for everyone.
That's right.
You know, like there's people that have big aspirations, big dreams, but because we so poorly we engineer it for such a specific range of people, the people outside of that are not able to access that. And so that was actually one of the reasons that I went into the first job that I did, where I was developing assistive technologies, because I saw this massive need of like people like having such big goals, but not being able to do it for simple things, like because, you know, they couldn't pick up a tool, they couldn't do this, they couldn't do that, just because the tool was designed improperly to be used by everyone, right?
Yeah.
And so I had the beautiful opportunity to do that and to be able to create low cost assistive technologies where you could just 3D print an attachment to a pen and it would, you know, connect to someone's arm and then they would be able to write properly, or they'd be able to clip their own nails. And then in that job,
simple, you know, like you said, clip your own nails. Yeah, that's a simple thing.
It's things we take for granted, right? But then the other thing that I was also able to develop was a device called the lip sync. So I want you to imagine for a second, okay? Pretend you're back in the pandemic.
Yeah.
You're in lockdown.
Yes.
And you don't have access to your cell phone. You don't have access to your, you know, your computer. You don't have access to any of that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how isolating life would be? Not just because you can't entertain yourself with Netflix, but you can't communicate with anyone without it, right?
That's right, yes.
You can't access knowledge. You can't access information. There's a huge portion of the population that experiences things like quadriplegia that are not able to go and use a smart device.
Yes.
Right? They're not able to go and use a laptop.
Yeah.
Just because they don't have the hand control to be able to do that. And so what I helped develop, it wasn't just me, it was like a group of people, was this device called the lip sync. And so this device, it kind of looks like a rocket and it has like a little pipe coming out of it.
Yes.
And then there's a wire that can go and you can connect it to your computer, you can connect it to your cell phone, you can connect it to anything. And all it does is create a cursor on your phone and you're able to control it with this straw. So what people would do is they would put their mouth on it and control the cursor with the straw.
So they can write things.
So they can write things, they can click on things, they can do everything. And then to click on something, it's called the sip and puff technology. And so if you like, yeah, exactly. So do a short, like little suck, and then that would be like a click, or you can puff and it would do another function.
Oh, nice.
And so this enabled people to access technology.
Yes.
Even things like, you know, applying for jobs, you know, all of that. You
or
need
even
technology. Communicating, exactly.
Yeah, like for people who, you know, they know their language, but they can't speak it.
Totally.
You know?
Exactly.
You know, like you said, people with disabilities.
Totally.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So those are some of the things that I was able to do as a result of this. And I think that for me, the motivation to become a biomedical engineer has evolved significantly since I first started.
Okay.
You know, first I was like, oh, let's build cool technologies. You know, I wanted to build like a bionic eye. So like a, you know, like a, but I quickly realized that there's so many more like fundamental baseline technologies that is awful. Yeah. That is terrible and needs to be innovated. And so I think that's kind of where I'm at in my journey right now.
Yeah. So how do you come out with this innovation? How do you start to say, I'm going to start with this to innovate this?
Start with a problem.
Start with the problem.
Yeah. There's this movie that I love. Have you seen it's a cartoon movie. It's called Robots. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a good movie, but I think it teaches like this very fundamental principle and what this like, you know, the big robot.
Yes.
I actually don't remember the name of it
I
anymore,
forgot the name.
But never mind. But what he says is see a need, fill a need. right? So like
Yes.
when you see something, then you can work towards it. You become passionate about it. You care about it.
Yeah.
And you kind of almost become obsessed with it.
Yes. Nice.
And I think that's how innovation should happen. I think so often people are like, oh, I just want to build cool technology, so I'm going to go do this. But often I don't think that contributes to anything valuable in this world. If anything, it contributes to garbage in landfills.
That's right.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. No,
Like think
that's
about all of
amazing.
those like fidget spinners and everything.
yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
all in landfills. But I feel like if you see a problem, if you see someone struggling with something, if it's a struggle that you experience yourself,
Yeah.
then you can use that to then start figuring out a solution.
Okay. Tell me about this innovation that you did that you actually saw it being used in the UK.
Oh yeah.
And tell me that story. And it's, I think, your friend's son?
It is, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
So, my best friend, my childhood best friend.
Yes.
So I met her when I went to the UK. She was actually the first friend that I ever made, and we've been friends ever since. So it's like 26 years now, which is insane. But when I moved away from the UK, we've been in touch. We talked to each other, but we hadn't seen each other for almost 15 years.
Wow.
Because I haven't been back to the UK since I moved to Canada.
Yes.
But unfortunately, in May of last year, she found out that her son was diagnosed with brain cancer.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't even like a small thing. It was like a 5 centimeter sized like brain cancer.
Oh, wow.
And it was really scary for her. And it was really sad for me to hear that too. I'm a big believer in that the universe like conspires in your favor.
Yeah.
And so one thing led to another, and then I had a work trip come up that was taking me back to the UK for the first time in 15 years.
Wow.
Right when my friend needed me.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Which I'm so grateful for. But then when I went to go visit her in the hospital, obviously we spent time together, and we were spending time with her son, and kind of, I was catching up. I brought them lots of little toys and gifts because she has two sons.
Yeah.
So one of them is still recovering, and then the other one is participating in this because like you can't just have one son, like
I know.
So he was also in the hospital, so we were just doing everything, and then the nurse comes in to check on his like vitals and everything and do some work, and then as she was doing that, she puts a sensor on him.
Okay.
And I was quite surprised. I was like, wait, I know that.
Yeah.
What is that? Like I mean obviously I recognized it immediately, but I didn't say anything. But then when the nurse left, I went and looked at the sensor, and it was the one that
You got a trip back to UK, right?
Yes.
Yeah, for work.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was going back to the UK for some work, and the universe lined it up well so that I was able to go and support my friend. And when we were at the hospital, when we were visiting, the nurse actually came in, and she, was coming in to do vitals and a whole bunch of things, and she plugged him up to a sensor.
Yeah.
And it was a sensor that I had worked on.
Oh.
I had spent, like a year and something helping to improve, to make it safe for children, to make it safe to use because it would collect the information effectively. And so, it was very shocking to see that being used on him.
Did you tell the nurse?
I didn't tell the nurse. I was like, I'm just going to let the nurse do her thing and then leave. And then after she left, to be honest, I was quite surprised. And then I walked over and I wanted to confirm that it was the one that I'd made. I was like, is this really good? And I looked at it and I was like, Kirsty, like, I made the sensor.
What did she say?
She was like, really? Like, I think we were all quite surprised by it. And then afterwards, she messaged me when I left, and she was like, oh, Oliver's been telling the nurses that someone that he knows made the sensor. And I was like, that's so cute.
That's so cute. Yeah.
It meant a lot to see that, and to see that full circle, but also to see it taking care of someone that I love dearly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Making a difference too.
Exactly.
That's amazing. So how's your friend's son doing?
He just had his last treatment, let me see, 11 days ago, but he's still recovering from that treatment. Like after every treatment, there's like the cycle of like recovering from it, but I'm keeping every single finger and toe crossed that everything is going to go well, and hopefully this is going to be, the step towards full recovery.
I hope so. I wish him all the best. So that's amazing. I love to hear this. Now, what challenges did you face as a woman in STEM, and how did you overcome them? Especially us women, you know that.
Oh, yeah. I think that this is an interesting question, because I think that there are challenges, but my perspective right now is that I feel like I've like faced them so much that they don't bother me anymore.
Awesome.
Like I've recognized it, and I've like overcome it mentally to a point where if it pops up, it's like, like, this is not worth my time.
Yes.
But I'll explain some of the things that I did experience in my younger years that, were quite shocking to me. I remember, I think there were a couple of moments during university, specifically during my undergrad, where I had to really like think about like what is going on. And so there was this one moment. I was in electrical engineering, as I mentioned, electrical biomedical. So in this program, they gave us a toolbox. It was quite an obnoxious toolbox. Like, it was big, but it was like a proper toolbox, and it had all of like our electrical tools and like everything in there. And so I was carrying this to university on a bus, and the bus driver looks at me and he's like, "That's a strange thing to put makeup into." And I was like, "Oh, what do you mean?
You should have opened it and say, look."
Yeah. The thing is about me is like, I'm non-confrontational.
I know.
So I looked at him and I was like, and then I walked away. Like, I tried to fake a laugh, because obviously, like, I think he was trying to make a joke at my expense, but like, I don't know. It was strange. It wasn't worth my time. So I just went on, but it's something that I thought about. And like, if I had a different mindset and a different personality, that would have really gotten to me. Like, if I was like insecure about my skills, and I feel like the only reason that I was secure about my skills is because of the way that I grew up too. Like, I was always like challenging my parents. I was like, well, why are you doing this? My dad gave me the nickname Question Amma, like question lady, because I was literally,
you have a lot of questions.
Exactly. But he would also always involve me with like any kind of home renovation projects too. So I was like pretty confident with using tools and all of that. And so I felt relatively secure about myself as a technical like engineering person. So I didn't let that bother me. Another incident was like when I was at this thrift store, or like a flea market or something, and I went to go buy a book. It was like a really cool like mechanical engineering book, and I was like, I want to learn how all of these things work. Like, I'm gonna go buy it. And then the person was like, "Oh, who are you buying this for? Like, your boyfriend, your brother, your father?" And I was like, but at that time I had my iron ring, so I like put my finger up and I was like, "For me."
Good for you.
So it's like all of these things, and it's like, never like big things, but it's always the little things that add up, like in university, like the projects, like the professor, when it was like male students, he would go and he would like sit there and explain things, but with like female students, he would just go and do the work and be like, "It's okay, there you go, done." And he wouldn't explain it. He wouldn't take the time for it. I remember this one like particular professor that did that often. Even like when you get into the working environment, if you've got a male supervisor and you've got like a male counterpart, whenever they're talking about the technical things, they will look at the male like counterpart and explain it to them. And then, like we're completely ignored. And I was like, this is interesting. But at the same time, like if you let that affect you, it's always going to, get in your way. And I feel like I've just kind of learned to like, I've almost let people underestimating me become my superpower. Right?
Yeah. Awesome.
But
that teacher, that professor that you said was ignoring you, have you seen him lately?
No.
You should.
I know, right?
You should. They say, "Look where I am."
Ta-da!
Yeah, exactly. My goodness, that's it's just crazy.
No. You know what? It's not worth trying to prove myself to people.
No. They see it in your work. They see it in every day, Just anyways. So I heard that you developed a game controller.
Yeah.
What is that?
This was actually before I started working at that company to develop assistive technologies. It was with the same company, but it was at a hackathon.
Okay.
So have you ever heard of a hackathon before?
No.
So
Hacking?
exactly.
Okay.
So I mean, in theory, it's hacking, but it's essentially just like a couple of days, like you sprint. Someone comes and gives you a problem, and you nonstop work for like a couple of days, 2-3 days, usually over a long weekend or a weekend.
Yeah.
And then you solve it. You create a prototype, and then you present it, and you have to pitch it.
Okay.
And then there's like a winner and a prize.
Uh-huh.
And so I used to love hackathons. I'm inherently like a very competitive person, so I will always look for things that like allow me to compete. So I loved hackathons because of that. And then there was this one particular one that we went to that was managed by the company that I ended up working at, called Access Makeathon or something like that.
Okay.
And so in this one, what they did was they paired you up to individuals that were experiencing some kind of like disability,
Okay.
that needed a solution made for them.
Okay.
And so I had the incredible privilege of working with this super sweet little kid. And this kid, when he was, I think like 2 or 3, I can't remember the exact age, had an anoxic brain injury.
Oh.
So this resulted in, lower dexterity in the fingers, so lower motor control. And at the point where we were working with him, he was about 10 years old.
Okay.
Now, what does every 10-year-old kid want to do? Play video games.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But he really wanted to play this game on like the Wii.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't use the Wiimote properly.
Oh.
Because of like the lack of dexterity. And you know how like the Wiimote is like quite small. Like you have to be able to have like fine motion.
That's right, yeah.
So what we did, and my background is in electrical engineering, so I'm able to like rewire things. What we did was we opened up the controller, pulled out the PCB from it, and we looked at like where the buttons were wired to, like, because it's like physical wiring. And we just unplugged those and created a bigger controller, like lap sized, with big buttons. And just rewired it to that.
Awesome.
And what this was able to do, and we saw the result immediately. Like once we created this for him, and like at the end of the day, he had this like big controller and he had a big joystick. So instead of using his thumb, he was able to use his whole hand and like buttons here. So immediately he was able to start playing his favorite game. And he was like not just playing, but like kicking ass. So
how was his reaction?
I actually have a video of his reaction, and like you can see his like face like light up. And it is so cool to see someone do that, like experience that. So yeah, it was awesome. Such an incredible experience.
Oh wow, that's amazing. I love that. Now let's switch to your latest innovation. Menstrual products. What triggered this innovation?
So it was a couple of different things. When I was doing my master's degree, I had gone back to do my master's, and I was very interested in entrepreneurship. So I took a couple of entrepreneurship courses, but at the same time, I was very interested in like women's health specifically. So I was taking like random courses from the Faculty of Medicine. So like midwifery courses, obstetric courses, along with engineering courses too. And so it was like a wide range of courses, but in this, what I was expecting to learn was like, opportunities to make like, next level technology, like how we can improve it. But what I ended up finding was that there was so much technology out there that, it's not even meeting basic needs, but was harming women. Like using the technology was actively like harming them. And I was like, what do you mean? What?
We don't need more harm, believe me.
Right?
Yes, we go through a lot.
So it was really shocking to me. And then around the same time, I started seeing lawsuits about, how menstrual products had PFAS and dioxins and kind of all of these like harmful chemicals in them. And, one thing led to another, and, it was just deciding to make menstrual products that were better for our body. But as we were looking through this process, as we were looking at how to make menstrual products for our body, I also realized that it was damaging the planet, Because, okay, so think about this right now, like putting it into perspective. The first menstrual pad that you've ever used is still sitting in a landfill somewhere.
Oh no.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh,
And like every
that's
single
not
one
good for the
you've
environment.
used this entire time still exists somewhere. Like it hasn't just disappeared.
Oh gosh.
And then there's every single month on this planet, there's 1.8 billion people menstruating.
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh, that's
Isn't
a
that
lot
crazy? Like when you put it into
Oh,
perspective.
that's a lot of garbage and a lot of harm to the environment.
Right?
Yeah.
And then once you realize this, you have to also realize that environmental health is human health.
Yes, it is. Of
Right?
course, yeah.
Like if the water that we're drinking, if the soil that our plants are growing in, if the air that we're breathing in, if the quality of that isn't good, our health isn't going to be great.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't be creating healthcare products that are harming the planet.
Exactly. That should have been the first thing.
Fundamental.
Yes. Wow.
So that realization for me was really big, and I had that realization during the pandemic. So when I was
Okay.
doing my master's,
Yes.
at the same time I was working as a clinical engineer at the hospital, and so obviously with the pandemic, there was a lot of garbage and like waste that came out from using the masks.
Yes,
And, every single day there's like a new policy coming in, and they were like, use these wipes, don't use these wipes, use
Yes,
gloves, don't
yeah,
use the gloves,
yeah.
wear masks, don't wear masks. And so there's even more garbage accumulating from that. But then even before the pandemic, like every single surgical procedure causes so much waste.
Wow.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you see that as a dentist
Oh,
too,
yes,
right?
yes,
Like
yes.
every single procedure, if you're taking something, you're opening it, has to be in a sterile like container.
Yes, yeah.
The gloves, the mask,
lot of
everything needs to be
garbage.
changed.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
insane. And
waste.
so I had this realization that we're healing one person today, but we're literally harming billions of people in the future
Yes.
by the waste that's being created. And ultimately, like, as much as like people on the healthcare side want to do something, it's the people that are developing the medical devices that have the ability and need to make the difference.
Yes, that's
And
right.
so the biomedical engineers.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, that's where you come.
That's where I come in.
Yeah.
And so I decided to use my biomedical skills to try and solve this problem and to try and
Okay.
make a difference. So my goal was just to start with menstrual pads.
Okay.
But what's interesting is in developing the menstrual pads and trying to come up with a better material, because, obviously when you think about the materials, you're like, why don't you just use cotton? Why don't you just use bamboo? There's natural
Yes.
fibers out there.
Yeah.
But the thing is even these materials have challenges,
Okay.
right? So another thing to put it into perspective. So 1 kilo of cotton uses between 10,000 to 20,000 liters of water to grow.
Oh wow. Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you've got like a jug of like 1 liter, but those
Yes.
1 liter bottles are this big. So 10,000 of those bottles just grow 1 kg of cotton.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the thing is cotton is a good material. It should just not be used in disposable products.
Okay.
It's not sustainable to use in disposable products.
Okay.
But the other thing is using cotton can be quite challenging because one, it's grown in environments where it absorbs heavy metals from the soil. And so the interaction of like your body with the heavy metals, like it needs to be studied more, but I don't imagine anything good coming from putting a material that has lead and arsenic next to your, especially such a sensitive area of your body.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then in order to make it functional, and this is something that not a lot of people know about, because
Yeah.
when you read the word organic cotton, you're like, the only thing on there is cotton.
Yes.
But what manufacturers don't disclose is that they put on sprays. They put on synthetic sprays to make the organic cotton functional.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How did you well, you're a biomedical engineer. I can ask you, but that's your
The
job.
thing
yeah.
is I also didn't know this. I
Yes.
only discovered this because I started looking at how to make menstrual products better. Because the first thing that I did was like, why don't I just, look at what's on the market?
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, maybe, what's on the market isn't good. Let's just have a look at the materials that are available to try and use them.
Yeah.
And then you kind of
That's
go
not
down this like,
healthy.
rabbit hole, and it just gets like, oh my gosh, like what are we doing?
Yeah.
And even with bamboo, bamboo, it has the potential to be a sustainable material because it doesn't use as much water as, cotton.
Yeah.
But the practices of growing it can sometimes be harmful because
Okay.
obviously it would need to be grown intentionally for to use in textiles, to use in products. And that often leads to monoculture and soil degradation.
Okay.
But the other thing is bamboo often needs to be heavily chemically processed. Wow. And most of the time when people are talking about bamboo fibers, they're actually talking about is viscose.
That changed the whole bamboo thing there.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So it's almost like a repurposed fiber that's heavily chemically processed and often still contains those chemical residuals.
Wow.
So then what we ended up doing was we developed our own fiber extraction process. And we and so we're able to extract fibers from virtually any type of plant. So we can extract fibers from your peace lily here if we wanted to. Yeah.
Does it take that much? Like you said, you take so much water to make cotton. Like it doesn't take that much.
So the thing is because it's not purpose grown.
Yeah.
It doesn't require any additional water to grow the plants, because what the farmers are doing is they're growing it for the food anyway.
Yes.
So when they grow it for the food, they harvest the grains. What we do is we purchase the stems and the leaves from them.
Okay.
So we take that from them.
Yeah.
And then we put it through a process and we extract this highly absorbent cellulose fiber from it.
Wow.
And it's so functional and so soft.
Yeah.
And then we've also partnered with other fiber manufacturers that are able to, support us with some of this as well, that are doing similar things to us. So, they're making sure that they're not using any of the harmful chemicals, that they're not getting it from any of these like purpose grown things. So I think it's really important to, when you see a problem, to go for like solve it head on.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
What's interesting, and I have a short story for you if you have time.
Oh, go for it.
But I saw this movie once. Have you heard of The Count of Monte Cristo?
Yes.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I watched
There's this
so many
one
times.
scene in particular that I feel like it changed my life forever. And it's honestly such an insignificant scene, but it's where the Count is on the beach and then the pirates are there and then they tell the like this one person that is the best like knife person, best fighter with knife, to go and fight the Count. Okay. And it's like a fight to the death. Whoever kills the other person gets to live and work with the pirates. Yeah. So they're fighting, and in my head I'm like, okay, obviously the Count is gonna kill this person and he's gonna move on. Yeah. And then the Count like gets to a point where he pins down this person. I'm like, okay, he's about to kill him, and then he's gonna go on, and then he doesn't kill him. And in fact, you know what he does? Yeah. He goes and talks to the pirate leader, and he's like, oh, if I don't kill him, then you're going to have two really good swordsmen that are loyal to you and, are going to support you. And I was like, firstly, why would I have killed this person? Like in my head, why is the decision? Why? Yeah. But also it made me realize that sometimes when you're in a position where you have to make a compromise, and you either have this bad decision or this bad decision, there's a third decision there somewhere that is much better than everything else. Yes. And I feel like that completely changed my mind, and that I think is what kind of led me down this pathway of developing my own fiber extraction process.
That's awesome. So you're thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Way outside the box, which is amazing.
Anyone.
Which is amazing. Yeah. Wow. So I'm gonna get your product. We're gonna look at it. Okay. So I'm gonna give it to you, and you explain it to me.
Sure. Okay. Yes. So inside here are our pads. Okay. So this pad is a compostable pad. Okay. So a question for you. Yes. What is the difference between, so you've heard of the word biodegradable, right? Yes. Yeah. So what's the difference between the word biodegradable and compostable?
I know compostable like disappears faster than the biodegradable one. But I don't know how much faster.
Yeah. So it's really interesting because I initially thought they were the same thing before I started working on this. Yeah. I was like, oh, you can use the term biodegradable, compostable interchangeably. There's no difference. But what I realized was that there's a big difference. Okay. So the word biodegradable, all it means is that it can be broken down by a microorganism, but there's no guarantee of how long it's going to take to break down. And there's no guarantee of what it's going to break down into. Oh. Okay. So it could potentially break down into microplastics, or it could break down into something that doesn't like fully degrade properly. Okay. So that's biodegradable.
Okay.
And it's
Compostable?
less regulated than compostable. So compostable is highly regulated.
Okay.
So it has to break down within a certain time period.
Okay.
The time period varies depending on the standard you use, but like the largest amount is under 180 days, I believe.
Oh, that's great.
But usually I think it should be around like 90 days. And then
Okay.
when you work with compost manufacturers, you realize that their, composting cycle process tends to be about 30 days. So 30 days is what you should be aiming for,
Okay.
especially if you want it industrially composted. At least that's from my experience, what I've realized.
Okay.
And so what we've developed is a compostable product, a compostable pad.
Awesome.
So do you want me to open it up and talk about it?
You go ahead, right ahead.
Sure. So this menstrual pad here, as you can see,
Yes.
is made out of natural fibers.
Okay.
So all of it, and if you were to open it up,
Yeah.
you would see that there's multiple layers in there.
Okay.
So the functionality of a menstrual pad is actually very important.
Okay.
And so the top layer, you've got the top layer, you've got the distribution layer, you've got the absorbent core, and then you have your leak-proof layer.
Okay.
So I'll go layer by layer.
Yeah.
The top layer, what you want it to do is you don't want it to absorb into the top layer. You want it to get pulled down as quickly as possible. And that's wicking, right?
Okay.
So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you've got the right ratio of hydrophobic and hydrophilic fibers
Yes.
so that it pulls
Yeah.
down quickly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it gets absorbed into the top layer, what you're going to get is a wet feeling against your skin, like a
Yes.
wet cloth.
Yeah.
So we've optimized that.
Okay.
And our wicking is incredible for this product.
Nice.
So this is something that a lot of people notice is like when they use our product, they don't feel that wetness against their skin
Okay.
because we've put in a lot of time for this. And it's not just a combination of the hydrophobic and hydrophilic, but also the size of the holes in the top layer too that matter. And then you've got your distribution layer. And so the distribution layer essentially just helps you like pull it down further and almost acts like a one-way road. So think of like a one-way road. So you can go one way and you just can't go the other way.
Yeah.
Because otherwise what would happen is like, let's say that you were wearing this pad, it's fully saturated and you sit down, it would be like a wet sponge.
Yes,
Everything would come back, right?
Yeah.
It's a visual.
Yeah, not a good visual.
So you don't want that to happen. So you want it to act like a really good one-way road.
Okay.
So that's what we've done.
All right.
And that is called re-wetting.
Okay.
And then you have your absorbent core. You want your absorbent core to hold the material,
Yes.
hold the fluids as much as possible,
Yeah.
and hold on and spread it out and distribute it as well as possible,
Wow.
and hold as much of it as possible. So what's really interesting is
I know. It's like a lot in one pad.
I know, right? I know. Who would have thought? Yeah. Our fibers that we've developed for the absorbent core, because that's most of our focus right now. The fibers that we've developed is for the absorbent core.
Yeah.
And then we're using like our partners' fibers that are similar to ours for the top layer.
Okay.
So for the absorbent core fibers that we've developed, it's actually 300% more absorbent than normal fibers that are used in menstrual products right now.
Awesome.
Yes. So you can have like a really thin regular pad that will absorb even more than the products.
Yeah.
And that the other thing is that it's really breathable.
Okay.
So what this means is that when you're using it throughout the day, sometimes with plastic products, there's an odor that comes.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you get paranoid and anxious and you're like, can other people smell this too? And so that doesn't happen with this. There's no odor because it's more breathable, which means that there's better thermal regulation and less microbial growth.
Awesome. So the fibers, or you extracted fibers from any plant, but mostly was it like the peel of a banana?
We started with banana peels, but we don't use banana peels anymore.
Okay.
So banana peels, like the story from Dragon's Den with banana peels.
Yes.
Basically it was like during the pandemic, like I was eating a lot of bananas, so I had a lot of banana peels at home.
Yeah.
And then, kind of one thing led to another. And we're like, can we extract peels from banana or fibers from banana peels?
Yeah.
Because like they have fibers in there.
Yeah.
And so we were doing a lot of experimentation. We were working with like researchers and then we were able to do it. Like no one thought we could extract fibers from banana peels, and then somehow we ended up doing it. But that process is what is now the core technology of the company, like the fiber extraction.
Nice.
But we don't use banana peels anymore. We use essentially like agricultural residuals from farmers. So like once they've harvested their grains, then we take the stems and the leaves from them, and we extract the cellulose fibers from that.
I never thought there's so much, things that go in a pad. And I know from here you're gonna expand and do many other products.
Yes.
Like diapers.
Yeah, diapers,
makeup stuff,
incontinence, makeup pads.
Wow.
Think of all the face masks we used during
Yes,
pandemic.
yes,
so we can replace that. All the gowns, everything that they used in the hospitals. We can
Wow.
replace all of that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Wow. All the best.
Thank
I
you.
know whoever is watching, you're looking for
Investment.
investors.
Yes. So if there are investors, yes.
They can contact me and we'll give them your contact information. We wish you all the best. It's
Thank you so
amazing.
much.
We can keep talking about all the innovation and all the stuff, but I don't want to keep you too long. So
Thank
I'm going to
you.
say some words and I want you to tell me what they mean to you, for
Sure.
you. Okay? Innovation.
An opportunity to solve new problems.
Perfect. Sustainability.
Ooh. A circular world where there's no waste generated.
Empowerment.
Equal opportunities for everyone.
Great. Inclusivity.
A world where everyone has the same opportunities.
Resilience.
Ooh,
Yeah.
this one's a good one. Being scared but doing it anyway.
Perfect. I like that. Mentorship.
Mentorship.
Yeah.
Mentorship is making the mountain taller for the people that come after me and using the ladder that's created by mentors before me.
Wow. That's amazing. Leadership.
Leadership. Leadership is getting everyone rowing in the same direction, working together to get everyone rowing in the same direction. I'm a very visual person, as you can tell.
I know, that's amazing. Health.
Health. Ooh. These are good words.
Yes.
Health is the ability to do whatever you want by yourself. Independence.
Good. Women.
I love this. Women. Creators.
Excellent. I love it. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
me here. It's amazing talking to you, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.